Hey guys, so this is the document that I posted in Google Classroom, and I wanted to just show it to you all and explain how you're going to be writing this academic summary. Here, this is just talking about when you read the article, you should be annotating it. We already have that done. And down here is the T-chart I just showed you all in the past video. So on the left side is your main ideas, and the right side is any supporting details. Here is where you're going to be applying that T-chart. So on this document, it gives you a summary frame that can help you to transfer these T-chart notes into this frame. So you can see that it has things like in this article, or you pick what kind of thing you read. We read an article, the title, the author. It's telling you transition words such as first. It's showing you where to input verbs, and I'll show you a list of verbs right now. And then this is when you start inputting information from your T-chart. So here it's saying input the main idea here. Here it's showing you, now here's where you put your supporting detail, where you put your quote. Then you're doing it again. Here's another transition word, another verb. Now you're putting your second main idea and your second supporting detail. Then you're doing it a third time. So you should have 3 main ideas and 3 supporting details by the end of this that come from reading this article. Then in the very end, you have your concluding sentence. So to summarize that once more, it's an introductory sentence telling you about the article. You have your main idea and your supporting detail, your second main idea and supporting detail, your third main idea and supporting detail, and then a concluding sentence. Now looking over here, this is the verb list I referred to. So when it says vivid verb in the sentence frame, you can pick one of these. Pick one that makes sense. Don't just pick one because it sounds good or because you've never heard of it, because it might not actually flow in your sentence. Either try saying it out loud or checking what the word means or how it's used in a sentence online could really help you out. I'd also just use ones that you've used before that you're familiar with instead of experimenting right away in this first academic summary. This is on revising. We'll get back to this in just a little bit. We're going to be peer editing together in a few days. But here's the model. So it's using the sentence frame exactly as it's written above, but it's using it from the information from their T-chart on bats. So you can see here, this is going to be the first sentence. So this is your intro. Let's see if I can write in this. I'll just put IN. In the article entitled Bats, the author explains many unknown characteristics about bats that most people are unaware of. First, and this is when we start getting into the main ideas, so this is number 1. First, the author notes that bats are mostly misunderstood and unappreciated by most people. In contrast to some beliefs, bats are not blind rodents that usually have rabies, like so many people have been made to believe. Actually, they have sight and are mammals. In fact, bats have similar bone structure and skeletons to that of humans, so they are not winged rodents at all. However, they are colorblind, so they use echolocation if there's not enough light. So there we have our main idea, and then here's another transition right here. So we saw the transition in fact and the transition first. And we see them talking about the main idea and then adding the fact, adding the supporting details. So the main idea, it doesn't have to be just a sentence. They put in their own words a couple of sentences and even a couple of supporting details. We see more transitions such as however and actually. So each sentence has its little transition. It doesn't just start. Now we go into number 2. We see the word next. That's our signal that we have the next main idea coming. Next, the author discusses that there are about 1,000 different species of bats, all with different sizes and unique diets. Most eat insects, but some eat plant products and small animals. This one's smaller and a little easier to dissect, but it has its main idea here about different species, and then it gives some facts about the kind of food that these different species and types of bats eat. And then we see the little indicator right here, this transition word, that we're on our third and last main idea. Lastly, the author describes how bats are beneficial to human beings. Among their helpful actions, an important trait of bats is their ability to destroy many unwanted bugs. Also, they spread fruit seeds and pollinate plants. Currently, the bat population has dropped and may continue to drop. So that's the end of our third and final main idea and supporting details that go along with it. So now we're going to end with our conclusion. So right here is the conclusion. And it says, the author encourages readers to realize that although bats look different than our favorite animals, we can learn to accept and admire their value. So it ends with the big main idea of the entire article and what the author is trying to persuade you or convince you of. And we see all these transition words being used. We're still seeing vivid verbs. After each author, that's bolded, there's a vivid verb. So we have notes, discusses, and describes how. Notice that they're not anything fancy. They're words that you can all understand. So again, I just want to repeat that you can use words you're familiar with for these verbs. That makes it a lot easier for you to be writing this. But this is how it should look. So you can refer back to this for any examples on how to write it. But you need your intro, your three main ideas and supporting details, and then that concluding sentence.